Hello everyone, I am Purva and you are watching Decoding Lex. Today in this video we will be learning about the dowry system in India and also the legal framework prohibiting dowry in India. So let's decode. Dowry system is followed in India since very long time. It started even before the British rule. But at that time, people did not consider dowry as mere fees or money that the bride's parent had to pay her at the time of her marriage. But the idea behind the dowry was to ensure that the bride is financially stable after getting married. Hence, her parents started giving her money, financial assets, land, property, etc. to make sure that their daughter is happy and independent after getting married. But when British rule came into India, they restricted women to own any kind of property. Hence, all the gifts that were being given to the bride by her parents were started being owned by her husband. The greed of her husband slowly and gradually started increasing and they started harassing their wife for demanding more dowry. This system started creating problem in today's society. Hence, to curb this kind of system, many laws were introduced in India. But now since we are talking about dowry, let us understand what does dowry exactly mean. Do all kinds of gifts that are being given to the bride at her time of marriage as dowry? No, dowry is being defined in section 2 of Dowry Prohibition Act. What kind of gifts are being considered as dowry? Let's have a look at them. Let us understand the definition of dowry in simpler terms. See, dowry means any property. Any property means it can be movable as well as immovable. Movable means TV, refrigerator, or any other thing, etc. Or immovable means land, property, flat, etc. or valuable security. Valuable security is been defined in section 30 of IPC. It states that any document that creates, restricts or take away your legal right is known as valuable security. Is given or is agreed to be given directly or indirectly between marriage parties or by their parents or other person on behalf of the parents before the marriage or at the time of marriage. But this definition does not include dower or meher in case of person who belong to Muslim personal law. The practice of dowry has brought many social evils in today's society and has eroded the beautiful institution of marriage to mere contract of giving and taking money, valuable assets in exchange of marriage. A few social evils that dowry has brought along itself are as follows. First is female feticide. Even today, when there are so many laws prohibiting female feticide, the statistics of the same are much more to one's expectation. One of the biggest reasons behind this kind of practice is the thought that when a girl child is born, a lot has to be spent on her marriage. So people find it easy to eradicate the root cause of the problem that they think is female child. Second is suicide by young girl. Many a time the parents are not being able to marry off their child. The only reason is the heavy demand of dowry. This creates a lot of mental frustration in the minds of parents as well as the young girl child, and she finds it easy to commit suicide to get rid of her mental problem. Also, many girls are being kept uneducated because their parents think that this money would be used in future for getting them married off and for paying the dowry. Also, the rate of crimes such as prostitution, child trafficking has been increasing due to the demand of dowry. These are some of the social evils, and there might be many more that dowry has brought along with itself. So to curb these kind of practices, to eradicate them from the society, Government of India has brought certain legal framework. Let us understand them in detail. Our first legal framework is Dowry Prohibition Act 1961. See, the Government of India passed Dowry Prohibition Act in the year 1961, making a dowry demand illegal in the marriages. So, since we have understood section 2 of Dowry Prohibition Act, we have understood the definition of dowry which was given in section 2. Now let us understand the remaining sections of Dowry Prohibition Act. Section 3 of Dowry Prohibition Act talks about offender and its punishment. It states that it is an offense to take and give dowry. So, the family of the bridegroom will be liable for taking dowry, and the family of the bride will be liable for giving their consent to give dowry. Also, whoever takes or gives dowry will be punished with an imprisonment for a term not less than 5 years. Next comes section 4 that talks about penalty for demanding dowry. See, according to section 4, if any person directly or indirectly demands dowry from parents, relative or guardian of bride or bridegroom, then that person shall be punished with an imprisonment which is not less than 6 months and which shall be extended to 2 years, and also with a fine which may be extended to 10,000 rupees. Here in Pandurang Shivaram Kavatkar versus State of Maharashtra, the Supreme Court held that mere demand of dowry before marriage is an offence. Also, in Bura Singh versus the State of Uttar Pradesh, the court held that the deceased had before been set on fire by her in-laws return a letter to her father that she was being ill-treated, harassed and threatened with dire consequences for non-satisfaction of demand of dowry. Thus, an offence of demanding dowry under section 4 had been committed. Next we have section 4A, which states that if there is advertisement in newspaper, journal or any other media which promotes the dowry, then such person will be punished with imprisonment which is not less than 6 months and which may be extended to 5 years, or he will be punished with fine which may be extended to 15,000 rupees. Next legal framework is Indian Penal Code 1860, that is your IPC. Section 304 of IPC talks about dowry death. It stipulates that if the death of woman is caused within 7 years of a marriage by bodily burns or injury with evidence of cruelty or harassment by her husband or his relative in connection with a demand for dowry, is dowry death and is punishable with punishment not less than 7 years which may be extended to life imprisonment. Also in the case Vemuri Venkateshwar Rao versus the State of Andhra Pradesh, the court has laid down the following guidelines for establishing an offence under section 304B. They are as follows. Firstly, there has to be demand of dowry and harassment has to be caused to the accused. Then second is the accused has been died. And thirdly, the death is being caused under unnatural circumstances. Next section under IPC is section 498A, which talks about husband or relatives of the husband subjecting woman to cruelty. If any woman is being harassed by her husband or by her in-laws, then the husband or in-laws shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years, and they shall also be liable to. A third legal framework is Indian Evidence Act 1872. Section 113B of Indian Evidence Act talks about the presumption as to dowry death. See, it states that whenever there is a question that if a person has committed dowry death or not, and it has been proved that the dead woman was being subjected to cruelty or harassment for demand of dowry, then the court will presume that that person has caused the dowry death. There are always two sides of a coin. Similarly, every law has its misuse. Not all cases that are being filed under dowry are true, and in nearly more than 40% of the cases, the allegation made by women are false. According to NCRB statistics, in the year 2012, 2 lakh people were arrested, including 47,951 women, and out of them only 15 were convicted. So whenever a law is being made for your protection, make sure you use it in a correct way and not destroy any person's life. So let us have a recap about dowry system in India. We first saw what is dowry, we understood its definition, then we talked about what are the social effects that are being caused due to dowry, that is female feticide, second is uneducated girls, third is suicide by young girls, fourth is prostitution, and fifth is child trafficking. Then we talked about three legal framework in India that are made for prohibiting dowry. First is Dowry Prohibition Act in the year 1961. Then we talked about Indian Penal Code, and lastly we talked about Indian Evidence Act. Hope you guys have understood about dowry system in India and its legal framework. If you have any doubt on this topic, please do feel free to ask me in the comment section. Also, please like this video, share this video with your mother, your sister, your cousins, your friend, whom you care. And also please subscribe to my channel. And lastly, I would like to tell you only one thing. If any woman is facing this kind of problem, this kind of harassment for dowry demand by her husband or by in-laws, please do go and raise your voice. Register a complaint in your nearest police station. Help that woman and see if you yourself are facing this kind of problem. Please raise your voice, because if you don't, no one will for you. Okay, till then, take care and have happy learning, and please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.